So here with you Anna Tutova, co-founder of Coins Telegram, and our guest Kieran Warwick, who is co-founder of Illuvium, one of the most popular Web3 games. Great to have you here today, Kieran.
Thanks, Anna. It's good to be back.
Yeah, so we did before interview with Kieran probably more than 1 year ago, still at the times of the bear market. And you see quite a lot of developments and advancements with Illuvium now. But for those who are not aware yet what Illuvium is, can you tell briefly about it and as well how the idea of starting Illuvium come to you?
Yeah, so I've been in crypto for quite some time now, and I was trading back in 2020, and I stumbled upon NFT games. And I just really liked the underlying tech, and thought, if we could go out and build a really good quality game that had NFTs, then the gaming market would see this and take note and think, you know what, verifiable ownership of assets inside of a game is really cool. The idea of a marketplace where you can sell these assets is pretty attractive. And so yeah, we just got to work, started building a team, and now we're 120 plus people. We're building 3 games simultaneously, and we're very, very close to going live.
Yeah, this is great. So now as well, everybody complained that the Web3 games are not that good as Web2 games. So like real gamers are not really impressed by those. And it really takes a few years to make a good game of great quality. So what do you think that, like, who is your community usually? Are these gaming people, or are this just some crypto people trying to get into play on and just benefit from playing the games?
I think we have a combination of both. First of all, I think gaming is such a, a natural thing for people who like computers and tech and the internet. And so when you talk to someone in crypto, most times they've either played games in their past or they're still a gamer now. And so there's definitely an intersection there for the people that are in crypto. But we sort of split up our market into 2 cohorts. There's the Web3 people that are already adopted. I think that there's somewhere between like 4 and 5 million that are currently playing crypto games across the number of titles where you can actually play. And our second cohort is users from the mainstream that haven't yet been adopted into crypto gaming, and that market is a lot smaller in terms of our active market, purely because we're just so early, and there's still a little bit of a negative feel around NFTs and crypto gaming. But the potential of that second cohort is so big. Obviously, there's 2.5 billion gamers out there, and so we slowly want to tap into that larger mainstream audience while being really attractive to the current audience that are already here.
So how do you see the as well activity among the gamers? Like probably on the peak it was around 3 million or something like that at the Axie Infinity. So how do you see the activity with Illuvium during the previous bull market and during the current market too?
It's coming back. So we were a little bit different because we weren't live. We only had our games in a private beta state. There wasn't that ability to go and get millions of players because we just didn't allow them to come in because the games weren't ready yet. Now I feel like we're there's definitely a lot more attention on the gaming space. And I think what that means is, even though we're earlier in this positive cycle, if you like, or a bull market, I think there's probably about the same amount of people that have started playing games. There's a lot of airdrops that are going on out there. And so it'll get much, much, much bigger this cycle. It's still very, very early days for us, and the market's pretty much only just turned, which is why it's really exciting.
Yeah, so you mentioned as well some airdrops, and I know that you recently talked about play to airdrop campaign. So can you tell more about this? So do you plan to reward with the tokens your early testers? So how will it be done?
Yeah, so we're going to have two airdrops. So anyone that has participated in the ecosystem prior to when we take this snapshot, so that will be things like staking in the two different pools that we've had, or three. We actually had a few very, very early stage pools where we're working with other partners. And so any sort of staking movements, any purchases of land, of Illuvitars, any trading that's done on the Illuvidecks, all of these things will be added up and generate you points, and then those points will go towards the airdrop. That's one. And then the second one is, again, a point system that you accumulate these points from playing and achieving different milestones in the game. We're thinking about making this start in testnet when we go on to PB4 and we start having people test out all three games, not the real economy, but just working out the kinks, and then obviously moving that forward into when the games go live as well.
Yeah, so will it be a airdrop in Illuvium token, or do you plan to launch any other tokens too?
No, it'll be in our native Illuvium token. And yeah, we put aside a lot of tokens, 1 million to be exact. And obviously that has a huge value, 120 million or whatever it is at the moment. And so we'll only give a portion of those away, but you can still get the idea of how big the opportunity is for people to jump in and start trying out Illuvium.
Wow. And as well, did you take already a snapshot? Not yet. People can still.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, cool, guys. There is still a chance to get a generous airdrop from Illuvium. You should hurry up. With such airdrops campaigns, projects usually are afraid that their tokens will be dumped. So will you prevent the dumping of your token in terms when you just give it for free to the users?
So we're using it as a marketing opportunity, right? To not only will it be to our community, it will be to external communities as well. And what we're trying to do is extend the reach of ILV, create more holders. Once they see one of their tokens or even 0.1 of an ILV in their wallet, it becomes a situation where you do a little bit of research. What is this? And hopefully we gain a ton more players from that, which effectively will convert into generating more revenue. The more revenue we have in our system, the way that our tokenomics work, our protocol or the DAO uses all the revenue that we have, 100% of it, and purchases ILV back off the market, right? And so if more people are entering the system and spending money, we're buying more ILV off the market. So it creates this this equilibrium where we're not, people aren't, even if people are dumping, there's still enough people that are actually generating revenue in the system.
Yeah, great. And as well, now everybody talks that blockchain gaming is the next catalyst for the next super cycle. That's the easiest way to onboard people into Web3. So what do you think about that? And Well, do you have any predictions? How many blockchain gamers can we have by the end of the next year, for example?
It's always hard with predictions. I think it gets pretty crazy. It depends on how many games actually launch. There's and how many good games launch as well, right? Like we need to break away from just pu people purely playing games for a financial return. There's only ever going to be so many people that are willing to do that, and I think over time that is obviously going to increase as well, but not when we're talking about trying to bring in like the next 100 million people into crypto. I think the only way to do that is to actually have an array of fun games to play. And so studios like ourselves and like 10 to 15 others need to launch this year in order for that to happen. And you'd be hoping to get sort of like 5 to 10 million players in each one of these games across the different genres. And if you could do that over the next like months, then maybe you start hitting those numbers of like 100 million plus.
Yeah, hopefully it will be helpful. And as well, you have quite a long-term vision for the Illuvium. Like I saw your post, like you thinking already over 20 years timeline. And you mentioned that you plan as well to do some merchandise, IP campaigns, TV shows, and etc. So have you started doing anything on that direction or not yet? Is it still just a plan?
Not yet. So yeah, so we basically we're still building the IP. We need people playing our games first once we go live, and that's when we can start thinking about other forms of extending the IP, whether it be TV shows, Netflix stuff, uh, you know, potentially even movies down the track. But a lot of this stuff is really, really long term. And our focus is well and truly on building out those first three games.
And what will be the timeline for the launch in any other IP? What do you think?
Not sure yet. We're launching the games in Q2,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll have a much better idea after that. And the next time that I come on, hopefully I'll be able to explain that.
What will be the first game which you will fully launch?
All three at the same time.
Okay. And for those people who are not aware yet much about your differences between the games, can you describe briefly those?
Sure. So, Illuvium Zero is a city builder type game. Think of it like sort of a mix between Clash of Clans and SimCity in its final form. It's basically where it powers, you generate fuel from your land plot, and that fuel is what's required in any of our current games and future games. Then you've got Overworld, which is like a combination of Pokemon slash Power World, but with NFTs. And you go around, there's 7 different regions for you to travel to. There's 200 plus creatures for you to collect. You are trying to basically craft armor, weapons, all of which are NFTs. And then you can use all of these NFTs that you create in the overworld in the other games that we create. The first one being Arena. An arena is like a Hearthstone meets Teamfight Tactics style of game.
Yeah, that sounds cool. And as well, of course, you mentioned that gaming NFTs will be used within your games. So what's your opinion on the current state of gaming NFTs, and why do you see the value in gaming NFTs?
So I mean it's been a bit crazy the last 3 years. Obviously, NFTs have taken a bit of a hit, and I think the biggest issue that people that NFTs have faced in general is that a lot of people use the sale of NFTs as a funding mechanism. without actually having a game. And so you get these NFTs that sit there dormant for a long time, and it becomes frustrating. And so people who were hoping that, you know, something would happen are selling those NFTs. And so I think once the games start coming out, it's really going to invigorate the NFT market again, and you're going to start seeing a whole bunch of volume start pouring in, especially on the games that have really thoughtfully come up with ways that you actually get these NFTs. Just selling them is one thing, but actually having an in-game mechanism where you can either play and earn these NFTs through skilled gameplay or whatever it might be. I feel like they're the types of NFTs that have scarcity that will retain value over time.
And everybody as well claims that unlike the traditional gaming items, NFTs are interoperable, but still, I don't really see that much interoperability between different other games unless these are games developed by the same project, by the same company. So what's your take on that? Will we see in the future interoperability in completely different games by different game developers?
Look, I still think we're a long, long way away from that, and that's why we went out and built 3 games at the same time. Is we want to demonstrate what interoperability is for the first time. You can literally take one item out of one game, and it will be applicable in 2 other games. Like that experience this year, which you will be able to play, has never been done before inside of the game. All right. So we're focused on that. And we think that that's cool enough for gamers to be able to experience, especially when you start thinking the next game that we develop, you'll be able to, an NFT that you captured 2 years earlier is basically your access pass to this new game. That concept is really, really cool. And we don't need to extend that to the point where, you know, we're collaborating with 50 other games to bring their NFTs in, which can potentially mess with our economy and stuff like that. We just baby steps first.
Yeah, and as well, you building on Ethereum, but there are as well a lot of complaints that Ethereum is too small, the transactions are still too expensive for the real engaged gaming experience. So what's your experience with the Ethereum, and do you consider as well launching on any other chains too?
So we've gone with Immutable X's layer 2 solution. So there's no gas fees, extremely fast transaction times. You basically won't even know that you're playing a crypto game with the onboarding that IMX has built in Passport. So we're super happy to be building on Ethereum. It obviously comes with a lot of security benefits, given how many nodes are out there. And so yeah, for us, there really wasn't any other option to go outside of Ethereum, but there is the potential in the future to merge into the EVM compatible IMX/Polygon chain, and that's something that we're potentially going to look at.
Yeah, interesting. So let's see. And as well, you mentioned that you can give away to the community some Illuvium discs. So can you describe what that? Is it like pack of gaming NFTs? Or is it like avatar NFT? Can you tell more?
Yeah, so there are in-game avatars. They're actually up here, if you can see them. They're similar to
On
those
the
up there. So
wall.
yeah, so they're like a cartoon version where we take a funny expression of the creatures that we have in the world. We've done 2 waves so far, so there's been about 30 of the alluvials that are out there, and yeah, they're actually no, about 50, sorry, and they're just really, really cool, different expressions. There's a way for you to actually collect them in your album. Your album then has the ability to unlock different in-game benefits like skins and battle boards and emotes. And so there's been a pretty crazy response since launching that. I think we've had about 9 million in sales from Illuvitars. And yeah, happy to give away some discs to your listeners, and yeah, hopefully they get lucky and get one of the tier 5 creatures.
Yeah, great. Actually, I just noticed in the comments regarding my previous question, I was asking you whether you plan to launch on any other chains, and there is somebody asking whether you will do cross-chain on Solana. So, what do you think about Solana?
Not Solana. No. Not Solana. Well, I mean, never say never, right? Like I don't know. Like 5 years from now, maybe it's crazy things happen and we end up launching on something like Solana. But for right now, no, we're really happy with Ethereum.
Is it because Solana outages?
Not really. It's more the security side of things. I think and the networking effects that you have building on top of Ethereum. The majority of devs are on Ethereum. The majority of projects are on Ethereum, and of course Solana and a bunch of other chains are gaining traction and getting a little bit bigger, but we feel like it makes sense to just be building on the largest and most secure chain, especially when there's so many layer twos that are coming out, which make it super, super efficient. There's no reason for us to go anywhere else.
Yeah, and as well, can you share some upcoming plans for the development of Illuvium for the short term? Let's take maybe like next 1-3 months, and for the long term.
Yeah, so we want to get onto IMX's testnet really soon, which means we'll open that up to a bunch of people to play, and from there, there's not much else apart from a whole bunch of marketing activities that we're going to do for our go-to-market strategy. It's literally switch it on and start playing Illuvium Zero, generating the fuel, start capturing alluvials in the overworld, and then start battling in these large-scale tournaments with huge ILV prize money. It gets crazy. Like all of our games go live in this quarter. So yeah.
And as well, can you
Next quarter, sorry, next quarter.
Okay, great. And can you share as well some your general views on the current crypto market? We've been pumping like crazy. So where do you see the market going? Will we see any correction of Bitcoin and altcoins? So will we see just the influx of capital on the market?
So I mean, first of all, it's really good to see. I think a 2.5 year bear market is pretty draining for even the toughest of souls out there, and so it's really good to see that things are turning into a positive direction. I think the Bitcoin ETF, the halvening that's coming up next month, like there's a lot of positive sentiment, even the potential of an Ethereum ETF being approved. It's crypto is going mainstream, and I think the difference, the crazy part for me is we're nearly at a Bitcoin ATH, and it really doesn't feel like retail is here yet, right? Like these normies where you would normally hear 20 messages a day from your friends that aren't in crypto saying like, hey, do I buy XRP or do I buy Doge? Like, how do I make money? Like, why is everything going up? Everyone's telling me to buy crypto. That hasn't happened yet. And Bitcoin's nearly at, it was hit what, 64 grand or whatever it was. So that to me says that we're in the very early stages of the bull market. Maybe we're like 15% of the way through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what an ATH is. Is it 150 grand? Potentially. Yeah.
So it's your short-term or long-term prediction of 150K for Bitcoin?
I think by the end of this cycle, Bitcoin is going to get up to those levels. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. And do you invest yourself in any altcoins? Do you have any picks?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a lot of my tokens in Ethereum. That's my biggest play. I think you'd be crazy not to do that. I've started venturing out as well. Like I hold a little bit of Bitcoin, but I've started venturing into other chains. I bought a whole bunch of Say recently and started dabbling in some projects over there. And then outside of that, I go just very deep in gaming. I try and get in very early. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of projects come to me before they launch and ask, different stuff about how we've gone about things, what marketing plans we did early on to get some exposure. And so, yeah, I tend to invest a lot into new games coming out, and yeah, apart from that, just every so often I'll go into a new project.
Okay, so you as well support your competitors and invest into other games too?
Absolutely.
Interesting. So it's some kind of a user support overall of the industry and of the community.
Of course, as I said, the market here is very, very small, right? Like if there's one game, let's call it some indie mobile game that comes out that brings in 50 million new players, that's a big win for everyone, right? They're going to look for, oh, what other games are out here in different genres? And if Illuvium's there as one of the best games in the space, there's likely going to be some crossover there where we gain some of their users. So I don't know, I think I've deployed maybe 2 million in capital into other games in the ecosystem at very early stages to try and help the ecosystem. And yeah, I think if one wins, we all win.
That's true. And do you plan cooperation with these other games you invest into?
Uh, Sorry, to do collaborations.
Yeah, with the games you invest into.
Yeah, we're actually looking at doing one very soon. I can't reveal who the game is or the partner, but yeah, we're looking to do sort of like cross integrations where our holders get a NFT or some like cosmetic in their ecosystem. On the flip side, we do something, we give their ecosystem a cosmetic from ours, and so we're sharing that value across both ecosystems.
Yeah, we need more of that. And can you share maybe some more names of other gaming projects you invested into and you're bullish on?
Yeah, so there's Nor is one, or Eternal Returns, whichever one you want to call there. Uh, Another one that I've gone into is Civitas. I've invested in Futureverse. Uh, um, there's a there's so many. I like Cloud Castles. I didn't get into their seed or their like any of their earlier rounds, and they haven't launched their tokens yet. But John Kavanagh is from Heroes of Might and Magic. He's building it, and I think it's going to be a really awesome game. It's kind of in stealth at the moment, but yeah, write down Cloud Castles. I think it's going to be huge when it comes out.
Great. Thank you for sharing those names with us. We'll check it out. And as well, do you have any last words for our community?
No, that's pretty much it. Just thanks for following and supporting us for the last 3 years. I really appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to launching in the next few months, and we'll see how we go. It'll be very exciting times. Make sure you get in and get that airdrop.
Yeah, thank you for sharing what you have been up to, waiting for your open beta launch and for the full launch of your games too. And the users who watched this Binance Live Emma, it will be capped on the website, so you can always watch as well the recap of it, and we'll upload as well our interview on our YouTube channel. It's called White Crypto. You can find it, and as well, don't miss the opportunity to get the, I would say, the airdrop, participate in the contest for Illuvitar discs, and you can you need to like and retweet the tweet with the Binance Live Armor or with the YouTube link, and leave your comments, and then we'll select the winners.
Perfect. Well, thanks again for having me on, Anna. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Talk soon. Bye.